Do you know what? Okay. There's a lot of performers on their first time, they forget to open their eyes because they're spending so much time concentrating on their words that they forget
To open the eyes.
And this one was like, it was like, I was like, oh, all right, okay.
So, how I got involved with the drag community here in San Francisco, I came here looking for the gay community, like a lot of people do here. But the first people that I met were what is now my drag sisters, Chastity Bell and Flynn Whitmire. After, I don't know, about 2 or 3 weeks of hanging out with them, they introduced me to who would become my drag mother, Suppository Spelling.
Hi, I am Jared Webster, otherwise known as Suppository Spelling, otherwise known as Spaz, otherwise known as Late for Dinner. Glamour, he knows Kakatilia, my drag mother. Tilly, Kakatilia had been my mother for probably 5 years, and when David or Glamour and I got to know each other more, and he was like, I should be your mother, but I'm not going to take you out of the crib. And he goes, okay, I'm your father. We figured it out.
I am David, aka Glamour. I've been called the Hog Queen of Lip Sync. That was a long time ago. I'm originally from New York. Was a New York City personality starting in 81, really, I think, in New York. And then I've been in San Francisco doing drag for 20 years now. So I'm an old drag queen. Hi.
Most of the drag family consists of women, like drag mother, drag daughter, sort of. That's the titles that we use, at least for the most part. I mean, with the exception of Glamour, who is pretty fluid in his gender in almost all forms. Who could be referred to as like drag pa, drag grandfather, whatever. Personally, I refer to him as the drag Yoda.
I love being a drag mother. I love it. And it is because I am inherently a caretaker. Like, I raised brothers, sisters. It's just sort of my nature. I love seeing a person, like, go for something and blossom and open up in whatever way they're doing it. That is what feeds me in this role as drag mother. I will help you with your hair, your makeup, coach you through your number. That's the best part of being a drag mother.
After about 6 months here, I started collecting tips for the drag queens. I was hanging out with Spaz, and the idea came up, and Spaz framed it in this really funny way that I'll never forget. He comes up to me, he says, Chris, my tubes have been tied as far as having more drag children goes, but there was never any stipulation that I couldn't have any more drag sons.
God, I know. I talk about my family, my sons and daughters. There more children have been pulled out of me than a burning orphanage. It is so true.
When I started doing drag, I felt very much that I had a split personality. Like, there was definitely like this meek little quiet person that like smoked coffee and drank cigarettes. Smoked cigarettes and drank coffee. And just stayed, like, I was very, like, socially awkward. I didn't want to be in the middle of a crowd. And then the other personality, I'd go on stage and I could just be lightning, and I could walk through a room and like sashay away. You know what I mean? Personally, it took me about 10 years before I felt that those personalities fused together. And that was wonderful. And then the moment later, like years later, when I went on stage with no mask at all, and I just felt perfectly one.
I am more comfortable in front of people, or in front of a crowd, than in a crowd. I don't like. I get a little claustrophobic, but shy. I do not get. Ooh, it's my new shoes. Oh, Miss Suppository cannot handle when Jared buys stuff for himself and doesn't get her anything. Surprise! It's not heels. Yesterday I bought $25 in work shirts, and she's sitting over here like, I rang up everything, was heading out the door, and she's caught some jewelry in the case. It was like, and with mothers, some people might not like the responsibility. But let me remind you, I am a deadbeat mom. I'm like, kick them out the nest. It's like, fly or don't. See if I care.
After all these years, we finally decided that we're going to paint my face and that I'm going to perform. Finally. I'm deciding on a name, and pretty sure what I know what I'm going to do. I don't know if this is going to change my position in the family. I can imagine it kind of will. I can imagine there's going to be a lot of meta tranny jokes about how a drag son is transitioning into a drag daughter.
This is advice that I've given to lots of my daughters about performing. Figure out what it is you want to do. Don't worry if that changes, but do what you want to do. Get out of it what you want to get out of it. If that is popularity, then give the people what they want. If you want to get some shit out, get your shit out. That's what I've always said. That drag is cheaper than therapy. I know definitely for me as a performer, hopefully also for the audience.
Performing during the entire, before AIDS began, and performing all through the onset and the thick of it, when people were dropping like flies and just dying, I think the audiences were coming out because they just needed to be able to smile or laugh when their best friend had just died 2 hours ago. Yeah. They needed something besides just getting completely wasted, which I'm not against, but like they needed something to just give them enjoyment for that 5 minutes that it takes.
It's essentially taking something and making it very campy, and then taking everything that you experience in your day-to-day life and bringing it to a number and presenting that to an audience. Like, you know, with the baby queens, a lot of them, their first need, I suppose, for the other drag queens is a need for like another drag queen to show them how to paint their face, or how to shop for a bra size, or how to tuck.
I love my kids to, like, you know, go from an awkward duckling to sometimes the most exquisite, beautiful creature you've ever seen in your entire life. I love when that happens.
Our next performer, this is a very, very important moment. I am introducing a new drag daughter. She's already been my drag son, and we haven't figured out a name for her. I've been thinking about Allie Cruz or Valerie Holla, but until we come up with a name, she'll be introductory spelling. Give it up. Oh my God, we got through it.
We got through it.
Congratulations, baby.
Oh, thank you. Mwah. Somehow. Even with falling on the stage multiple times.
And a mom sandwich. A mom sandwich was everything.
Yeah, that was kind of adorable.
I had 3 kids. They all turned out different. But I always told them to embrace their identity as long as it was peaceful. And I will always love you, no matter what your identity is. Accept it. Be who you are.
I feel like my identity is tied into at least the drag queen, like the drag families here. I mean, after spending so much time with them and bonding with them and having them put me up on nights where I didn't have anywhere else to sleep and taking care of me when I had to leave my home here in the city, I think that that sort of closeness is what really creates the family. Like you're only really part of the family after you have actually needed each other. I would certainly call them my family.
Every day and every night, the people they say to me, Lizana, thank you for the beautiful work that you be doing for our people. Because every time when you get out of your Corvette Stingray, you know what comes, and your big acid wash jeans with the matching pink wrap fur coat, we say, Miss Thing, you got it going on. You is gorgeous.